All right, welcome back everybody to the fourth and final region today of my breakdowns, and this is Michigan's region. Just for those of you who haven't been watching so far, these videos, I'm just filming them live because it's easier than editing them and having to upload them and everything. So it's easier to film it live, so I'm not going to be interacting with the chat. Tomorrow I'll have a stream session to where we can ask questions and everything. So with that being said, just real quick, one more time, this video is brought to you by our friends at BetMGM and BetRivers. If you live in Tennessee, Iowa, Indiana, Colorado, or Virginia, you can sign up with BetMGM with the link in the description below and get up to a $600 risk-free bet upon signing up. And if you live in Pennsylvania or Illinois, you can sign up with BetRivers with the link below. You can get up to a $250 instant deposit match upon signing up as well. So those are two legal stateside-facing sportsbooks for you if you live in one of those 7 states. All right, let's move to Region 4, Michigan's region. I'm starting to lose my voice here, but I'm going to keep going. So when we look at the odds here, Michigan's given about a 29% chance of the Final Four. Alabama, 26%. Those two make up 55.9. And then the next tier of teams, I guess you could say, Colorado, Florida State, Texas, BYU, LSU. And then UConn, I guess, and then St. Bonaventure, Maryland, Georgetown, UCLA. And those are the teams. And so let's go ahead and look at the region odds. So this right here, whoops, I'm looking at the futures. So Michigan's region, Michigan is at plus 160. I have them at 245, no value there. Alabama, 271. This is 400. They are a value play. Texas 500, I have them at 1531, absolutely not. Florida State, no. Colorado at 1600, yes, I have them at 1172. BYU at 1200, no. UConn 1600, no. LSU 2500, yes. And that should do it. So LSU is a value play. And Colorado. No, LSU, Colorado, and Alabama are your value plays. So I'm going to go ahead and lock those in. LSU, Colorado, Alabama. All right. Those 3 are locked in. So that is the matrix for this region. And let's start breaking down the first round matchups. So we got some first 4 matchups in here. So we have Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern. Going to go over this briefly because it really ultimately doesn't matter in the end, but I have Mount St. Mary's by about 5.4 over here, 61% win chance, total 131. The question is, do I have any bets? By the way, I had Cleveland State, Houston under in that last video. I don't think I ever said I did. But anyway, moving on. The 18th. I have Mount St. Mary's money line in that one, just to let you guys know. And then when we look at similar matchups to Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern, the team similar to Mount St. Mary's by about 4, 58% win percent chance. By the way, I need to put my phone up on the window. Get those bets locked in. If you watch my live stream, you know why I do that. All right, so, yeah, Mount St. Mary's total of 137, but I have no over in that game. So that is that game. And then let's look at UCLA and Michigan State. A little bit more interesting of a matchup. I have UCLA by about 1.3, 60% win chance, total of 132.1. So this is good on good right here. The UCLA offense against the Michigan State defense. If Michigan State has a defense, they don't turn you over, or a weakness, they don't turn you over. They allow too many free throws, and I think UCLA can get an upper hand on both those things. And then the bad on bad, so to speak, the Michigan State offense versus the UCLA defense. If the UCLA defense has a weakness, it's 3-point shooting, but that's not something that Michigan State's going to exploit. And UCLA doesn't really turn you over, so that's a wash. So I think this is a wash right here. So I think UCLA has a slight upper hand on the offensive end, which is why I give them the slight edge. So let's look at similar matchups. Yeah, UCLA by about a little less than a point here. 50-50 though on the win percentage. So this is an even matchup, but I think UCLA has a very slight edge. And a total of 133.9. So I have UCLA plus 115, plus 2, and under 136. All my numbers are under 136 there, so I like that underplay. All right, moving on. To actual first-round matchups. I'm just going to very briefly go over Michigan's potential opponent in the second round. So Mount St. Mary's is one. Michigan by about 19, 96% win chance. Does Mount St. Mary's have a prayer? I don't think they do. If Michigan has a weakness on offense, they don't get to the line very much. And Mount St. Mary's has a relatively strong defense to their offense, but their weakness, rebounding, they don't turn you over. And Michigan State should be able to, and also they could do a good job defending the three, but Michigan's even better at shooting the three, and they make twos, and Mount St. Mary's not the best at defending the twos. So that's where Mount St. Mary's has a relative strength, but Mount St. Mary's will not be able to do anything offensively. It's going to be ugly. They don't do very much of anything well on offense. They play so slow, you think that they would have better numbers than what they do, but they don't. As slow as they play, they don't make the most of their possessions. Michigan, the only weakness they have is they don't turn you over, but Mount St. Mary's is prone to that. They don't get to the line. They don't make twos. They're very average at threes. Yeah, this is going to be Mount St. Mary's team total might be the lowest of any first-round game if they get there. Let's look at Texas Southern. What do I have on the similarity? I have Michigan and Mount St. Mary's, so let's look at that real quick. The similarity, Mount St. Mary's only one win out of all of these, and that was Fordham over Rhode Island in 2017. 129.7 total, which is, that's Texas Southern. Yeah, not much to see. Abilene Christian versus Kentucky NCAA tournament game in 2019 sounds about right. That was a blowout. 79-44. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like that. All right, and Texas Southern, 24-point gap there, even worse. They don't do much of anything good at all. If they have a strength on defense, it's blocking shots, but everything else is pretty below average. So Michigan shouldn't have any trouble there, and offensively they don't do anything well either except rebound the ball. Offensively, Michigan is number 18 in defensive rebounding. Yeah, this is an even bigger mismatch. And there's a reason I don't have a similar matchup for that. So let's move on to the 8-9 game, St. Bonaventure and LSU. By the way, did my plays go through? They did. All right, good. Okay, St. Bonaventure and LSU. Okay, this projects LSU by about 2 points, 58% win chance. So when I saw this matchup yesterday, I was very high on St. Bonaventure, but since I redid the preseason phase-outs, it hurt a team like St. Bonaventure without a lot of non-conference games, so they look a little bit worse in the model. I'm not saying they can't win, but it's a lot harder on paper now today than it was yesterday. So the St. Bonaventure offense, if they're going to get it done, they have to take advantage of LSU's weak defense. And LSU is very poor at defensive rebounding, poor at giving up 2-point shots, poor at turning you over. But they do a good job at preventing you from getting to the line, and they do a good job at defending a three. And unfortunately for St. Bonaventure, that's good on good and bad on bad. So this is all a wash. St. Bonaventure is going to have to rebound the ball offensively to win. They need to take care of the ball, which they shouldn't have a problem doing, but they're not going to get to the line, and they need to control tempo. So control tempo, rebound the ball offensively. That's St. Bonaventure's key. And then the defense of St. Bonaventure versus the strong offense of LSU. If St. Bonaventure has a weakness defensively, just like LSU, it's defensive rebounding. This is a wash up here, so they need to rebound the ball defensively. LSU does a good job of taking care of the ball, and this is all a wash. So this game is all going to come down to rebounding. Whichever team wins the rebounding battle will win this game. And then when we look at the Similarity. It's very close. Very close. Any tournament games here? Yeah, Cincinnati against UCLA in the tournament in 2017, which the team similar to LSU won by 12. So any other tournament games? Nope, that's it. So yeah, very close matchup. Do I have a bet on the game? I do not. So this is a game you just sit back and enjoy. Projected total between 142.5 and 145. All right, moving on to Colorado and Georgetown. You know, one of the value plays in the region. So Georgetown, will their run come to an end? I have them losing by about 4.5 here, only a 1-in-3 chance. So this is the good on good right here, the Colorado offense against the Georgetown defense. If the Georgetown defense has a weakness, they don't turn you over, but they do everything else pretty good. And I guess defensive rebounding. So Colorado has an opening here, offensive rebounding. But the Georgetown defense actually matches up pretty well with the Colorado offense. So this is all a wash, but this is where things are different. The Georgetown offense could be stagnant. They don't make a lot of twos. They rely a bit too much on the three, and they turn the ball over too much. And Colorado should be able to turn them over and should be able to prevent them from making threes. So for Georgetown to win this game, they need to make threes and limit their turnovers. It'll be tough. So I like Colorado here. Do I have a bet on this game? I had the bet on the under. So let's look at the similarity real quick. Colorado at 3.5, 64% win chance, total 132.3. I have under 138.5, and over here it's 133.5. So I like the under there, and that's why I'm on it. But here's your similarity score. Any tournament games in here? I don't see any, but the most similar matchup, Xavier and Florida, Thanksgiving tournament in 2019. The team similar to Colorado won by 5. So there you go. All right. Moving on to my favorite 4-13 matchup of the tournament, UNC Greensboro and Florida State. I have UNC Greensboro losing by 9, about a 1-in-4 chance. Total 148.5. So the UNC Greensboro is actually a better defensive team, but that's Florida State's strength is their offense. So they look a little stagnant against Georgia Tech. So if UNC Greensboro's defense has a weakness, it's defensive rebounding, which unfortunately plays right into Florida State's strength, the number 3 offensive rebounding team in the country. They also foul a bit too much, and Florida State's pretty good at getting to the line, so that's going to be tough. UNC Greensboro is going to have their hands full on defense, so they're going to have to get it done on offense with Isaiah Miller, who's one of the best point guards in the country. Unfortunately, they're not a good shooting team, Greensboro. They're not a good shooting team. They rely on getting a ton of offensive rebounds, which they'll be able to do against Florida State, and getting a lot of second chances, not turning the ball over, taking care of the ball. But UNC Greensboro, they just don't do a lot well offensively. They don't get to the line. They don't shoot the ball well. So they rely a lot on second chances, dunks, taking care of the ball, and stuff like that. When I watched them in the Southern Conference tournament, they were very, very heavily relied on dunks. Easy shots. And Florida State's defense just doesn't give up a lot of twos. Florida State's defensive weakness, defensive rebounding, and three-pointers. And I don't know if UNC Greensboro are going to be able to do it, but we'll see. Let's look at similarity matchup. Okay, -8 for Greensboro, 18% win chance. So, however, I actually bet on this game, New Mexico State versus Miami in the Diamond Head Classic in 2017, and they won. I remember that game. But I am on UNC Greensboro plus 500. I think they're worth a shot. And I'm also on the over, even though this total right here is a little too low for comfort. But the top, 146.5 right here, the top 12 matchups. And I have over 145. And over here, it's 145.8. So I'm on the over, and I'm also on UNC Greensboro plus 500. I just feel like there's some value there. If this gives them a 1-in-4 shot, then That's the value play. So I'm on the UNC Greensboro spread, over, and money line. So 3 plays on that game. I think the spread's a good play. I don't think UNC Greensboro will get blown out. But winning is a little bit tough, but I think at plus 500, it's worth a roll of the dice. All right, moving on to the 6-11 matchup, which is going to be BYU. We'll have to break down both. BYU against Michigan State. So this has BYU winning by about 7, so a little bit of a mismatch. I don't think Michigan State should have got in. I think they're the worst at-large team, and this will reflect that. So BYU, strong offense, going up against a relatively strong Michigan State defense. Michigan State doesn't turn you over. They foul too much, but they rebound. So BYU will have a trouble scoring, but they should be able to get to the line a little bit more than they need to. They take care of the ball, so they'll be fine, I think. Here's the problem for Michigan State is their offense. It's just not that good. They don't make threes. They struggle to make twos even. And while they are good at offensive rebounding, that's BYU's strength. Defensive rebounding, they turn the ball over too much, but BYU won't turn you over. And they get to the line. So on paper, you can see some openings here for Michigan State, but BYU still has the edge. What's my similarity score over here? Michigan State, BYU, 33. So this says Michigan State -6, 30% win chance. Sounds about right to me. Any tournament games in there? I don't see any. And then when we look at BYU and UCLA, that's a different story, I bet. So BYU by 5, 61% win chance. The BYU offense should be able to hit threes against the horrible three-point defense of UCLA. And UCLA's offense, they'll take care of the ball, but I don't see a lot of openings here otherwise. Maybe hitting threes. So whichever team hits the most threes here will win, and I like BYU in that. So I like BYU to make it to the second round. All right, let's look at the 3-14 game between Texas and Abilene Christian. I was hyping up Abilene Christian a lot yesterday on the stream. So this has Texas by 13, Abilene Christian with the 21.4% win chance. By the way, I have a bet on the over in this game, so this is 144.2. The total is 139.5. So good on good is the Texas offense against the Abilene Christian defense. So what Abilene Christian does is they go for the turnover and the steal at the risk of the foul. So Texas should be able to get to the line here, but Texas is prone to turning the ball over, so I expect Abilene Christian to get their turnovers and steals. But the problem is when you go for steals so much, you kind of leave yourself exposed to making twos, and so Texas should be able to make their twos, and if they miss them, they should be able to get some rebounds. So Abilene Christian to win this game is going to have to force a lot of turnovers because Texas will be able to make their threes, they'll make their twos, they'll get their rebounds and second chances, so they need to prevent the ball from getting shot to have a chance. And Abilene Christian's offense, they have to turn those turnovers into opportunities. Texas' weakness is fouling, and Abilene Christian should get to the line. But I expect Abilene Christian to turn the ball over a bit too much and not get second chances. They need to make threes. So for Abilene Christian to pull the upset here, they need to make threes, they need to get to the line, and they need to win the turnover battle. Those three things will give them a chance. So when we look at similarities, the Texas team only by about 7. Abilene Christian a 1-4 chance. I think that sounds about right. The top 20 matchups, the top 5 matchups are 14.4. The top 10 are 10.4. So it's actually more favorable to Texas at the top. All right, almost done with the first round matchups. Let's talk about here's the 3. We have UCL and BYU as well. Oh, I'm not going to worry about it. Maryland and UConn, another boring matchup. The 7-10 games all suck this year. Maryland and UConn. So this has UConn by about 1.5, 57% win chance. Do I have a play? At least I have a play on the 7-10 game. I don't have a play on any of the other 7-10s. So I have under 131, so this projects 128. So Maryland, a very bad offensive rebounding team, not a good free throw shooting team, but they should be able to get to the line because UConn, that's their weakness there. And UConn has a relative weakness of three-point shooting, so Maryland needs to hit threes here. This is good on good, the Maryland defense versus the UConn offense. Maryland doesn't turn you over. They are suspect to the three, and UConn isn't the best three-point shooting team. UConn has a hard time getting the ball in the basket, but they're good at offensive rebounding, but Maryland's very good at defensive rebounding. So actually on paper, I like Maryland here, so I'm surprised that my model has UConn. When you look at similar matchups, the team close to UConn actually has a 4-point edge. However, the team closer to Maryland wins 3 of the top 4 most similar matchups. So it's a close matchup. I like Maryland on paper, but the model says UConn. And then the last first-round matchup is Iona and Alabama. How often do you see a national championship winning coach coaching a 15 seed? Not very much. But this has Alabama by about 16, only about a 6% chance for the Pitino team to win. Alabama, best defensive team in the country, going up against an offensively challenged Iona team. If Iona does anything well, it's offensive rebounding and getting to the line. They might be able to get to the line against the Alabama defense, but they're not going to be able to rebound. They won't be able to make shots, so that's the problem. They're just going to have a hard time making shots that are not from the free throw line. And then Alabama, if they have any weakness, it's turning the ball over, but Iona's not a good and here's where Iona won't win the free throw battle. They do a poor job at preventing teams from getting to the line. So that's Iona's only chance is to win the free throw battle. I don't see it happening. Alabama should win this one easily. Similarities. Alabama by only 10, but remember, it's probably more lopsided here at the top. Top 16 games are minus 15.3, but there's 3 wins actually out of the top 8 for Iona. Iona won 4 of them, so it's close. Any tournament games in here? There's the Mountain West final from a while ago. I don't see any tournament games, though. All right, so that's the first round. Let's talk about some second-round matchups. Let's talk about Michigan against a LSU or St. Bonaventure. So Michigan against LSU, only a 6-point edge. Good on good is the LSU offense against the Michigan defense, but Michigan defensively does everything well. They don't turn you over, and so LSU will be able to get the shots they need because Michigan's not going to turn you over, but not a lot of things to exploit. That'll be very tough for LSU. So here's where the gap is. LSU defensively not good at defending the 2. Michigan good at making 2s. LSU not good at defensive rebounding. Michigan not the best offensive rebounding team, but they'll be able to rebound. And Michigan will be able to take care of the ball. So this seems like a game where LSU could hang for a while, but Michigan will pull away at the end. Let's look at St. Bonaventure. So St. Bonaventure, weak at defending the 3, weak at rebounding. So Michigan should be able to hit 3s, get some second chances. St. Bonaventure is not going to turn you over. They'll prevent them from getting to the line, though. And then offensively, I think St. Bonaventure is a bit too offensively challenged to pull this one off. So if it gets to this point, the end of the line for St. Bonnie's, 8-point gap. All right, let's look at the 4-5s. Let's look at a Florida State against a Colorado. So this has Florida State by a point, but Colorado with the win percent edge. So this is an even matchup. Colorado is actually better in my model. So Florida State, prone to turning the ball over. Colorado State forces turnovers. But Florida State has a rebounding edge. Everything else looks to be a wash. So the turnover battle will dictate the offense-defense matchup up there. And then the Colorado offense against the Florida State defense. Colorado's going to have to hit 3s. They're going to have to get some offensive rebounds, which I think they will. And they will have to – this is a wash, and they'll have to get to the line. So if Colorado can get to the line and win the rebounding battle, I think they'll win the game. And do I have any plays? Nope. And so that's that. And let's look at a Colorado versus UNC Greensboro, just for the hell of it. So this is UNC Greensboro with a 5-point edge. Yeah, I remember Greensboro's weakness is they can't get to the line and they foul too much. So I think Colorado would have an edge here. I don't think Colorado's a great team, but on paper they look pretty good. I don't see a lot of edges here for UNC Greensboro. Yeah, this is a tough matchup for them. All right, moving on. Let's look at BYU against Texas. And basketball this time, not football. So these are two even matchups. Actually, it gives the edge to BYU slightly here. The Texas weakness on defense is fouling, and BYU doesn't get to the line enough, though. Everything else is pretty much a wash. I guess rebounding, Texas has the edge, defensive rebounding, but down here, it's a wash. This is a very even matchup. Very even matchup. It could go either way. On paper, everything looks like a wash. Whoever would win the rebounding war would win this game. And then let's look at Alabama and maybe like a Maryland. And then UConn. Alabama by only 2, so this is a tough matchup for Alabama. Remember, Alabama's weakness on defense is fouling. That's a wash. This all looks pretty evenly matched up here. Alabama will definitely win the rebounding battle, though. So limit second chances. And then up here, the Alabama offense, they'll make threes, which plays into Maryland's weakness. So I'm surprised it's so close, but the win percentage isn't close. The spread is close, but not the win percentage, which is surprising. Remember, the model up here is more based on finding edges for betting against the spread more than accurately predicting the final score. There's other ways to more accurately predict the final score, but I do things a bit off, outside of the box to find edges for betting. So that's why there's a disconnect. And then let's look at UConn. So another 2.5-point spread, but a more lopsided win percentage. So UConn, I don't think they have an edge against the Alabama offense, and they definitely don't have an edge against the Alabama defense. They would have to get to the line a lot and win the rebounding battle. So Alabama, I like them to make the Sweet 16 without much of a fight. So let's look at potential Sweet 16 games. Let's look at Michigan against a Florida State or a Colorado. So Michigan over Florida State by about 7. Michigan should be able to win the rebounding war here. And I think they'll win the free throw battle as well. So, yeah, the free throw battle and the rebounding battle will win Michigan that matchup. And then Colorado by 7 again. Colorado would have to... Let's see, what would they need to do to get it done? They would need to turn the Michigan over, which I don't think they will, prevent them from getting to the line, and then offensively they'll have to hit threes. It's just a bad match. Michigan's such a good team, they just don't have a lot of weaknesses. All right, let's look at Texas against Alabama. All right, Texas would have to get to the line, and they would need to make 2s and win the rebounding war, which I think they can. This is only a 2-point gap, but Alabama, it looks like they can exploit Texas's turnover problem easily. And also, they should be able to get to the line as well. So free throws and turnovers will decide that matchup. Let's look at Alabama versus BYU. All right, this actually has BYU winning. Wow. But this is the win percentage 2/3. So like I said, 2 different models. This is more looking for an edge for betting purposes rather than predicting the final scores accurately. But if BYU can pull it off, it would be rebounding. it would be making twos. And it would be, yeah, rebounding and making twos is BYU's path to beat Alabama. And then let's look at the Elite Eight between Alabama and Michigan. Michigan by about 7. Yeah, Michigan just doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. That's the thing. Like, how do you beat them? How do you beat them? Well, yeah. Alabama would have to clamp down on defense and just hope to win the rebounding battle, which I think they would. On paper, they would win the rebounding battle, clamp down on defense, and hope Michigan can go cold on offense. Yep, that's a good matchup. All right, well, that's the Region 4. Let's look at title odds. Once again, I'm going to have to log back into my account because it logs you out after like 5 minutes. All right. Futures, we got Michigan at plus 800. We got Alabama at plus 2,500. Wow, really? That is a value play. I'm going to jump on that. Colorado to win it all, which I don't think they will, but it might be a value play. Colorado's at 10,000. I'll jump on that too. Florida State. $5,000? Nope. Texas, no. Yeah, that should be it for the value plays. What's BYU at? 10,000. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to jump on Alabama at 2,500 and Colorado at 10,000. Just a couple value plays. All right. Awesome. So that's Region 4 for you. Thanks for tuning into these videos. I hope they can help you. Again, the file that I'm showing here, you can download it. The link is in the description below. You can use it for your own use. No problem with me. So that is it for the region recaps or previews. I'll have another stream tomorrow, probably to discuss actually Q&A with everybody and maybe go into some other details. So anyway, that wraps up for this video. Thanks everyone for tuning in.